Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be making some Jammie Dodger Blondies. So I found this recipe online. There were a couple of tweaks that I will be making to it when I make these in the future. So first of all, I am weighing out 200 grams of unsalted butter. And I just pop that in the microwave for about 30 seconds because I want that butter completely melted. And I'm now sifting 125 grams of granulated sugar and 125 grams of light brown sugar and popping that into a large bowl. So at this point you would also want to line your baking tins. I used foil trays for this recipe, so I didn't line them at all and they came free really nicely from the foil tin, so I didn't have to grease them at all either. But you will want to do that at this point, and you'll want to use a brownie tin that is around 9 inches by 9 inches. So as you can see, my butter is all completely melted, and I'm going to add that to the sugar and whisk on a high speed in my stand mixer. You can whisk this by hand. It will just take just over about 5 minutes to get to the colour that you'll want it to be, and you'll be able to see that form. So while that's mixing, I cracked 3 medium eggs into a bowl. I do this into a bowl just in case anything comes out in the eggs, any shell, or if any one of the eggs is bad or something. And I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm also mixing that up as well, just so that I don't have to overmix my mixture when it goes in. Now also grabbing another separate bowl, and I'm going to weigh out my flour. So I'm going to weigh out 275 grams of plain flour, and I also want to add 1 tablespoon of corn flour. And the reason I sift with a spoon like that is just because I find it makes so much less mess everywhere. I don't get this sort of like dust cloud of flour or icing sugar everywhere. If I just do that, it just sort of keeps it contained, and I find it much quicker than just sort of sifting it normally. So yeah, just if you're curious, that's why I do that. The recipe instructions say to measure out 200 grams of jam. I just sort of did it by eye because I knew roughly how much I wanted in each tray, and I did a couple of separate trays, so I would just stick to the recipe, just because if you're using a normal baking tin, that's what you want to have. As you can see, the butter and sugar mixture are a nice light colour now, so that's when you want to add your vanilla and egg mixture. This is when I preheated my oven to 125 degrees Celsius. I have a fan oven. Once all of that has mixed together in the mixer for a while, it should come to this really nice pale, smooth consistency, and this is when you want to add in those dry ingredients we weighed out earlier. So you don't have to be particularly gentle. You can put it back on the mixer with a mixing paddle, but I just decided to mix it by hand because I wanted to put the chocolate chips in whilst not all the flour was mixed in, just so that some of the chocolate chips had a sort of floury coating, which I know would stop all of the chocolate chips from going to the bottom. So just gently mix that all together. You then want to grab your baking tray, or in my case baking trays. You want to put all of the mixture into the trays. And then you want to flatten out your mixture so it covers the whole of the baking tin. You then want to spoon on top your jam onto your mixture, and basically what I tried to do was sort of swirl it in. It didn't really work, so I'm going to try this again next time and see if I've got a better advice for you. If I do find a better way, I will pop it on my Instagram stories, but yeah, I couldn't really find a good way of making this look sort of neat and pretty. But yeah, let me know if you think you know a good way of sort of swirling that into the top. You don't want to push the jam too far down in your mixture either, just because this will affect the cooking slightly. Now what you also should do at this stage is you are supposed to pop your Jammie dodgers, so normal size Jammie dodgers and some mini Jammie dodgers, you're supposed to pop them on top of your mixture before it goes into the oven. I completely forgot, so I had to do it when I'd taken them out, and yeah, I definitely just think it would work better with putting them into your raw mixture, so definitely don't follow these instructions on that part. Although it did work nicely, nothing went massively wrong, the consistency was really nice still. So I used a combination of mini Jammie dodgers and big Jammie dodgers because I like the way that looks, but on the recipe on the website they've just used 16 normal size Jammie dodgers sort of in a formation. So that is them out of the oven. They were in the oven for 25 minutes in total, and it might be 25 to 30 minutes or even more than that if you're doing it in the normal size trays. Just try and make sure a skewer comes out of the middle clean, but if you want it a little bit gooier, then maybe take it out just before. And that is all for today's video, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next week.